Well, hey, we're at Fail Fest 2014. This is Edge of the Web Radio, and we got a friend of the show, Scott Hill, co-founder and executive chairperson of PERQ.
Yep.
PERQ is a fantastic organization. Scott, you just got off stage. You had a presentation about failure. Now, that's usually not the most exciting thing to talk about, but absolutely in this culture, in this group of people, I mean, people are wanting to learn about how to get past failure and how to innovate past failure. Give us some insights of what you talked about on stage.
Yeah, what I kind of referenced was the failure learning lesson of going through the recession, and how during that time period I had taken on a failure mindset and kind of had lost the ability to think positive and towards the future of what I was in future working on, and I'd gotten so myopic into the short term that failure became possible, because when you get myopic and you're looking at just your actions and outcomes, only two things are possible: success or failure. And previously I had never looked at things like that. I was always so focused on the long term of what I was going after. But I got so short term focused that failure became possible. And so my presentation was all about how to try to get out of almost removing failure as a possibility and trying to turn it to where, worst case, it's always just a learning lesson.
From your experience there, did you provide yourself any number, almost like a checklist or flags to tell yourself, I'm getting in the weeds here. I'm kind of going into that tunnel vision, pull myself out.
I do now. I mean, that's the problem. During then, I was pretty depressed and had lost all kinds of checklists.
It was a bad couple of years.
Yeah, and it wasn't just even the recession. A lot of businesses went through it. It exposed a lot of the things we were doing wrong at the time. So really had to kind of pull ourselves up and almost start over. We had achieved a great success and built up a large and decent, nice, great company very quickly. And then to have it all go away, I felt like such a total failure. So when we were kind of rebuilding, the checklist now is that I always have the long-term vision that I'm shooting for that might take me 20 years. I mean, that's what I'm working on. When somebody asks me the question, well, what are you working on? Very rarely should it be the very immediate thing right now that you're working on that could have a success or failure outcome. Whatever happens in the short term today, that should just be able to be either a success that builds you towards what you're working towards long term, or it's just a learning lesson that enables you to be able to move forward with it. So I have, in business, we always do that. And it's like when you work with an investor or anybody like that, they're always pushing you to think bigger. Total available market that you can go after. So yes, I know you have this idea and this is what you're going to do, but how big can it be? What's your total available market? So we try to do that with everybody and try to get them to be thinking, what's the total available vision that you have personally that you want to go after and achieve? And if you're 22, maybe you can only see out to 25. That's fine, but you're always trying to be able to think larger and bigger and keep adding to it. So at this point, I'm able to know that I'm wanting to be able to be an angel investor with a bunch of money to be able to go and have that fun with it. And then so to make that happen, I have to have PERQ achieve a certain goal, and to have that happen, I need to have this technology achieve a certain goal, and to have that happen, I have to be able to have these particular things happen. And if any of those shorter term ones I need to move on from or change or adapt to, those are no longer failures. Those are just things that help me better be prepared to go accomplish that longer term goal.
It's a honing process as opposed to taking that personally as well of every different, because you're going to have those challenges. You're going to have those failures. Business is meant to go through that type of honing process.
Yeah, the whole keep the eye on the prize sort of thing. And a lot of times you may not be able to see, or you might have forgotten about what the prize is that you're after. And you always need to be able to be focusing that. What is it that you're ultimately trying to be successful at this for in order for something to happen? And I think that a lot of people struggle with being able to clearly articulate and define, this is what I want to have happen in my life, and this is what I'm doing today in order to be able to have that happen. And the more clearly you can be able to articulate what you're wanting to have happen, the easier the answers of what you need to be doing today seem to just appear before you.
And write it down. And just don't hold it in, actually put together that plan of attack.
I'm a big believer in that the more you can kind of live and be in that future moment where it almost turns into reality, that the easier it is to be able to have it happen today. So I'll actually even journal in the future. I'll be writing about, like 20 years from now, I've just now invested $1 million in this angel startup. I'm looking to be able to help support it and go through it, just to try to be able to have that mindset as much as possible.
So Scott Hill, the time traveler.
Exactly. It's amazing what you can do in your own mind, but I do believe that it really helps you have the grit to survive and get through and push forward with the things that you're trying to work on today.
What you're doing is investing in your vision. That's what you're doing.
Exactly.
Now, we never had, I'm a business owner as well. We've been doing the business in roughly the same time period. We never had these type of ecosystems of development groups where you can actually share this failure and be able to also have feedback from different entrepreneurs. How do you see that as a growth prospect for Indiana?
Yeah, so I know when I first started the company, it felt like I was out there by myself. And so today you have so much of a support system and be able to learn from, much easier access to mentors just because you're able to go where, mentors and advisors are also there. They're showing up.
And they're wanting to give back.
Wanting to give back. And so Indianapolis continues to be able to have a flywheel type of effect on entrepreneurship and investing and advisor and mentors. The more that people are successful, the more they're able to help others. And one advisor or mentor might be able to help mentor 5 to 10 people. And so then they become successful. And now those 5 or 10 are able to go help 5 and 10 each. And so it just keeps building forwards. And with technology, it started 20 years ago or so here in Indianapolis. Now it's just continuing to be able to move forward to where so much more accessibility. You look at Bill Godfrey, who's been a great advisor to us. He was just freed up from his job after he sold his company for a ton of money, a few years ago. Scott Dorsey just ended up stepping down as CEO. Now he's looking to be doing the same thing. So Indianapolis is continuing to produce people who now have the money and the time and the will to want to go help others.
It's an exciting time for Indiana and the Midwest. I think the Midwest is kind of reclaiming a bit of its innovation that maybe it's been not really having here recently. Well, Scott, thank you so much for all your time here, and we're looking at PERQ. We're always watching PERQ because you guys are doing some fantastic things out there. Any passing or last thoughts for entrepreneurs that are just starting up?
Set a vision, set big goals for yourself, and stay at it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Take care.